hand is that more than 435 tons of gold was smuggled out of Africa in 2022.
The Sahel just broke the rules. Gold mines seized, uranium contracts ripped apart, and foreign corporations shown the door, all in a single sweep. Why are Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger suddenly taking back what the world thought it owned? What does this mean for Africa and the global economy built on these resources? Let's find out.
Africa is rising, and this time, it's not just a slogan. From the deserts of Mali to the gold fields of Burkina Faso and Niger, a quiet revolution is shaking the global economy. For decades, the West extracted Africa's wealth and left its people with crumbs. But today, Africa is taking back control, starting with the one resource that built empires, funded wars, and anchored the global financial system. Gold. Africa produces over a quarter of the world's gold. Yet for generations, this wealth has flowed outward. Western corporations like Barrick Gold and AngloGold Ashanti mined billions of dollars worth of precious metal, while local communities saw little benefit. Colonial-era systems evolved into modern exploitation. The mines stayed foreign, the profits went abroad, and Africa remained poor. But now, a new generation of African leaders has had enough. In a stunning move, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, three nations of the Sahel, are seizing control of their gold and natural resources. They've expelled Western military bases, canceled exploitative contracts, and formed a new alliance, the AES, Alliance of Sahel States. Their message is clear. Africa will no longer dig gold for others while her people remain in poverty. Under Captain Ibrahim Traoré, Colonel Assimi Goïta, and General Abdourahmane Tiani, these nations are nationalizing mines and redirecting profits into their own economies. It's a bold, defiant step, one that challenges decades of Western dominance. In Washington, Paris, and London, alarm bells are ringing. Because gold isn't just a metal, it's money itself. The US dollar, long backed by faith and military might, now faces a new kind of pressure. As African nations reclaim their gold, they're exploring trade deals in local currencies and aligning with BRICS, the economic bloc led by China, Russia, India, Brazil, and South Africa. The implication, a slow but steady shift away from the dollar-dominated system that has ruled for nearly 80 years. For the first time, Africa is saying, we will decide the value of our own wealth. Gold is more than just a resource, it's leverage. By taking control of their gold, African nations are creating a new foundation for economic sovereignty. Instead of exporting raw gold to Europe, they're building refineries, reserves, and state-owned mining enterprises to keep wealth within their borders. This transformation is already visible in Mali and Burkina Faso, where governments are launching national gold buying programs to stabilize their currencies. Experts say this could lead to stronger local economies, higher employment, and better infrastructure. And as more African nations follow suit, the balance of power in global finance could begin to shift. The gold revolution is not happening in isolation. It's part of a larger movement, a Pan-African awakening stretching from the Sahel to the Congo, from Zimbabwe to South Africa. Leaders are calling for unity, resource control, and independence from the IMF, World Bank, and former colonial powers. The Alliance of Sahel States is already in talks to form a common currency backed by gold, a potential game-changer that could rival the CFA franc and even challenge the dollar in African trade. If successful, Africa could become a central player in the new multipolar world, where the global south defines its own destiny. The story of Africa's gold is the story of liberation, not just from colonial chains, but from economic dependence. The West is watching nervously, the markets are reacting, and the world is beginning to understand the age of exploitation is ending, and a new era of African ownership has begun. Gold built the old world. Now, it may just build Africa's new one. Did you know that Africa is sitting on nearly half of the world's gold reserves? Yet it has remained one of the poorest continents? For decades, a story of exploitation has unfolded. Foreign powers and multinational corporations extracted vast amounts of wealth, leaving little behind for the people who live on that land. But what if I told you that story is about to change dramatically? What you're witnessing is not just a news headline. It's a financial revolution in the making. A new gold rush is sweeping across Africa, but this time, Africa itself is leading the charge. Countries like Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger, forming the Alliance of Sahel States, are making moves that are sending shockwaves through the global financial system. They're doing the unthinkable, taking back control of their own gold and uranium. For generations, the narrative was set. Western mining gents like Barrick Gold and AngloGold Ashanti operated with near impunity, backed by international financial institutions. The system was designed to funnel resources out of Africa, fueling Western economies, while local communities saw little to no benefit. The gold was mined in Africa, but the profits were realized in London, New York, and Paris. This economic model, a relic of a bygone era, has kept nations in a cycle of dependency. But the ground is shifting. A new generation of African leaders is rising, and they're rewriting the rules. In a bold and unprecedented move, the Sahel states are reviewing and even revoking mining contracts that they deem unfair. They are demanding a greater share of the profits, greater control over their own resources, and a future where their natural wealth benefits their own people first. This isn't just about money. It's about sovereignty. It's about breaking free from the economic shackles that have held the continent back for far too long. This seismic shift couldn't come at a more critical time. The world is watching as the dominance of the US dollar shows signs of strain. Decades of US monetary policy, sanctions, and mounting debt have led many countries to seek alternatives. And what's the oldest, most reliable store of value in human history? Gold. As African nations reclaim their gold, they are not just hoarding a precious metal. They are building a foundation for a new economic future, one that is less dependent on the dollar. Think about it. If a country's wealth is backed by tangible gold reserves that it physically controls, it becomes far more resilient to the fluctuations and political pressures of a foreign currency. This is exactly what countries like Zimbabwe are exploring with its new gold-backed currency, the ZiG. It's a direct challenge to the old way of doing things. This move is not happening in a vacuum. It's part of a larger global trend of de-dollarization. We're seeing powerful alliances like BRICS actively working to trade in their own local currencies, reducing their reliance on the dollar. As African nations, rich in the very resources the world needs, begin to align with these new economic blocs, the balance of power begins to tilt. The West, which has long taken its privileged position for granted, is starting to get nervous. And they have every reason to be. The implications are massive. If Africa starts demanding payment for its gold, cobalt, uranium, and other critical resources in something other than US dollars, perhaps in gold itself or a basket of currencies, it would fundamentally weaken the dollar's role, the world's primary reserve currency. This isn't just a regional issue, it's a global one. The price you pay for goods, the value of your savings, the stability of the entire international financial system, it's all connected to this unfolding drama. We're talking about a continent that is home to some of the youngest and fastest growing populations in the world. Imagine the economic boom that could be unleashed if the wealth generated from Africa's resources was reinvested into its own infrastructure, education, and technology. We're not just talking about a shift in wealth. We're talking about unlocking human potential on an unprecedented scale. This is the promise of Africa's gold rush 2.0. Of course, this path is not without its challenges. The powers that have benefited from the old system will not give up their advantages easily. There will be political pressure, economic threats, and media narratives trying to discredit these movements. They will be framed as risky, unstable, or even hostile. but the spirit of Pan-Africanism is being rekindled. The desire for true economic independence, a powerful force that cannot be easily contained. What we are seeing is more than just a resource grab. It is a declaration of independence for the 21st century. It is a bold statement that Africa will no longer be a passive player in the global economy, but an active, powerful leader shaping its own destiny. The era of exploitation is ending, and a new era of empowerment is dawning. The world is changing, and Africa is at the very heart of that change. The West is panicking, and for the rest of us, it's a signal that the future of the global economy will look very different from its past. This is a story that will define the next century. So, keep a close eye on Africa. The continent's reclamation of its wealth is not just a financial revolution. It's a fight for a fairer, more balanced world. The gold is returning home, and its impact will be felt everywhere. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this exploration insightful, please hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into the forces shaping our world. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.